Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful and beautiful people, how are you doing on this lovely day? Today is the first day of the month, so of course, we go live. Now, some of you might have been expecting Chief on here, but he is not here. You've got me. Let's go ahead and get into it. How y'all doing today? I see some of y'all in the chat. You got Sister Kashia. What's up? What's up? What's up? Abba Haru. Shabbat Shalom, brother. Abba Utu. Peace, 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 peace. Master Antonio. One time for the one time. Peace to you, brother. It's not going to be very long today. I'll say. How many times I've heard somebody say that? Next thing you know, you're in there for 2 hours, man. Oh, man. Anyway. Softer Arlene. Peace, peace. Cassie D. What'd it do? Did you get your stuff taken care of last Strong? Well, you had something to do. Softer G. Peace to you. Sham the Joy. Peace, peace. We got Abba Cruz. Peace to you. Isaiah, peace, brother. Emma Queer, peace, peace. Let's go ahead and get in. So I got a joke. This is gonna either really, really go good, or this is either really, really gonna go bad. Either way, a man and his nagging wife go to Israel, right? And when they're in Israel, she just so happens to transition. Now, when she transitions, there's a guy who says, now, look, we can bury her here for 150, or you can send her back, and that's going to cost you about $5,000. Man sits there and thinks for a little bit. He's like, yeah, let's go ahead and send her back. He's like, now, why would you want to send her back? You can have a beautiful burial here. There's no reason to send her back over there, and it's going to save you a lot of money. Looks at the man, says, look, man, I'm not too sure if you're familiar with this, but there was a guy here some time ago who was crucified, and he was buried, and then sometime he woke up and rose again. I just can't take that chance. Send it back, man. Send it back. Right? Now, that joke was shared with me. I'm sharing it with y'all. Some of y'all are woke. Some of y'all may not like it. I don't really care. But the thing about a joke, though, is you have to take some risk. There's some risks involved with it, right? And you don't know really if it's going to land or not. You don't know what's going to happen. But nonetheless, you share it. And one of my favorite comedians was, and still is, Mr. Chappelle, right? And one of the things that he was talking about in one of his bits was that he brought somebody up on stage, and he was like, nobody was really laughing, but he saw they had potential. And in the potential that they had, he said, I'm gonna work with you because there's some things that I can show you of writing this joke and the art of writing a joke that ultimately will help you start to move forward in your career. So you might be saying, why am I saying all this? Well, I mean, when you get the opportunity to study with certain people, you don't take it lightly, right? There's certain things that you can learn. There's certain things that you can pull, and there's certain things that will help you grow. Now, what you do with the information that the person shares with you is totally on you. So you can either take the seed that somebody has given you and you can put it in your pocket, or you can take that seed that somebody has given you, and you can put it in the ground. Now, it's not necessarily to say that you're going to see certain automatic results from it. Like, as soon as I put this in the ground and I'm going to get this, right? It's like a vending machine. I put this in and I'm going to get this back. No, it's a process that one has to go through that sometimes they may get booed off a stage. Sometimes some people may not be receptive to whatever they say. But, you know, sometimes even in the art of telling a good joke, it sometimes is going to make some people uncomfortable. It can be very philosophical. It also can bring people together. And one of the things that even here in our new, or here when we're studying, we're getting gems, right? And as you know, there's a difference between somebody who has a talent for something and then somebody who has a gift. See, a talent just means it's on display, as Chief has shared this before. And you're in awe of it. Oh my goodness, this person can sing, this person can do this, or whatever the case may be. Whereas when somebody has a gift, the gift is going to be shared. So here, this is how, if I give a man a fish, they'll eat for a day. But if I teach a man to fish, they can eat for a lifetime. But that's not necessarily to say that the man is going to apply what is actually being given. But one of the ways that one can now start to move away from the herd and move away from the crowd and move away from some of the things that weigh one down, well, share with you a scripture real quick. Here we go, where it says, study to shew thyself approved unto God, and a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So when one gets an opportunity to study with Chief, study with somebody who has a gift, well, now the work has to be put in, and the work has to be done in order for one to be like, I'm not just going to come here and be like, give me this, give me that, give me this. I'm going to show you that I'm really respecting my craft. I'm showing you that I'm really respecting my journey, and I'm really respecting my own personal growth. And I want to get this because I know maybe Mr. Chappelle is not always going to be there. Chief is not always going to be there. I want to go ahead and get this for myself so that I can stand erect, which was Master Antonio was talking about a little bit yesterday in that K of having upright character, right? And that spine, per se. Or maybe it wasn't. You're just talking about the spine. I said the K. There it goes. There it goes. I'm just mixing them. But nonetheless, in that spine, in that K, but it's just a matter of getting it for yourself, right? Making sure that now, if I don't want to just have a talent to display something, I want to be able to now have that gift, because if I have that gift, then now I can give that gift to somebody else, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. But what ultimately are you handing the person? So this is why somebody would study to shew thyself approved unto God. Like, what you can give something that can ultimately be the demise of somebody, or you can give the gift of life. You can power, what does it say? Life and death lie within the tongue. So now, if I'm going to speak a word into somebody, or if I'm going to give it to somebody, then now I have to put the work in myself, right? I have to do it in order to now, then it's like, oh, when I come back and learn from somebody who was at the top of it and basically giving those gems, then now I'm like, okay, well, I did this, and then this is what happened. Or I did this, and this, not opposed to, well, just keep giving to me, give it to me. What else you got? What else you got? Right? Or some people will take that gem, like I said, and they'll put it in their pocket. Now, it's going to take me to another story, which it was too long for me to put up here, but I'm going to read it now. And then we'll go ahead. Let me take that down. And then, so here we go. We're going to go from Matthew, if some of you have are reading along. Matthew 25, verse 14. If you are going, I'll give you a second. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and read this. And it's from the talents, right? So for the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he and that had received 2, he also gained other two. But he that had received one went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou delivered this unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained besides them 5 talents more. The Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make them ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, thou deliver this unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. The Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things, right? And just from those 2, it's almost like, what are you doing with what you have? What are you doing with what's being delivered? And what are you doing with how many times one might show up here in our new, or one might show up into any type of circle where somebody is doing a lot of teaching, a lot of pouring in, right? And I'm going to keep giving you these gifts. What are you going to do with them? Are you going to take those gems? Are you going to take those gifts? Are you going to take that and then now multiply it and share it with others? Or do you do what this last person did? Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou as that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and I gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore he put my money to exchanges, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, give it unto him which hath 10 talents. So give the person who has 10 from the person who had the 1, because the person who had the 1 then had that fear, right? And it's that fear of certain things that now doesn't cause somebody to actually go up and stand up and be erect, or have that erect spine or erect character to say, you know what, this is my culture, or this is how I live, and this is what we do, out of fear. And you can sell a lot of things to somebody when they have a lot of fear, even though that they're learning all of this information. I'm not going to go, even if I do go share it, I might have fear that somebody might find out that I'm actually learning from somebody else. Right. Or I have fear that somebody might find out that I'm not as smart as what they think I am, because when I go and just regurgitate what she said, then now all of a sudden I look like I'm the bright one in the room. Or if I, did something happen? See, everybody just was lost at the, I don't know. Can you guys hear me? I think so. If not, well, we'll make this work. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. So it's a matter of now, when one having that fear, it's I give you an example. There was a movie that I used to watch a lot when I was younger, when I was trying to play football, and it was called The Little Giants, right? And then watching The Little Giants, there was a scene in there where they was like, all right, the next play is a pitch to Johnny on 2, ready, break. And they're like, hold on. You can't pitch that ball to Johnny. It was like, why not? Because I'm Johnny, right? Nah, you can't do that. Because when somebody now has a lot of fear, well, now what they need, you can now hoodwink them. You can hustle them. You can take advantage of them. So now all of a sudden, Johnny, who may not feel like he's inadequate and he needs certain things, well, now I'm gonna sell you some shoes now. Now I'm gonna sell you these gloves, because these gloves are what certain players or certain people have worn in order to get to where they need to be, right? So if you put these on, then you can actually now play like the greatest have played. And now you just give me your money. Come on, I got you. What else you need? The towel, you need that too, right? And sometimes we take that even into our spiritual work. where now all of a sudden, because one is afraid, in order to stand on their square or stand on their dean and stand on their doctrine, they carry in a lot of fear. And when one carries in a lot of fear, then that's when somebody easily can step in and take advantage of somebody, because they were afraid to now use that gift that was given to them. They just went and buried it. And I'm going to bury it because I don't know what's going to happen from here, right? So now all of a sudden, yeah, I'm going to sell you. You need an elbow. Yeah, that's what you need, because you got a lot of demonic spirits on you. You have a lot of things going on in your life. Just pay me $450. Yeah, you know what? You need to get initiated. Yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to get initiated. And if you get initiated, well, then now all of these things now can start to wash away. Now all of a sudden, because there's a lot of fear, you're right. You're right. I do need that. I always knew it was something. But how many times have you seen, even in grasping the root of divine power to all of the different segments, character is all that's required. Character is all that's required. So if one actually takes the gems and the gifts and cashes it in and watch it multiply, now all of a sudden one can't be taken advantage of. But how does one start to get over some of that? Well, it's one thing is just slowing things down, man, and being able to now look and see what is going on around you, of even just taking a walk. And you know what? There's beauty that is all around me. And if there's beauty that's all around me, there's beauty that's within me. If there's beauty that's within me, then I must share that with somebody else. I'm not going to just put this seed that was given to me and put it in my pocket. I'm not just going to go ahead and bury it because I had fear that, you know, maybe this would be received the wrong way, or maybe this wouldn't land, like telling a joke. Maybe this, you know, people are going to judge me. Guess what? Some people are going to be uncomfortable. Maybe you might even be uncomfortable. But there's a trust that comes along with knowing that when I study under somebody, or if I've done something, that therefore now I'm not just here to just take and take and take. And yeah, what else you got? More. No, what are you doing with what was handed to you? Are you applying it? Are you putting it to use? Or are you just burying it or just consuming? And another way to even move past that is just being of service to others. And when one is being of service to others, one can start to move. And it's something as small as, like you even see Sister Kashia a lot of times, or somebody else even in the chat, share the video. So you may not even have your own legs up underneath, because you know what? I don't really know the information like that. But nonetheless, I can at least just share the video, because if something was life-giving and life-sustaining to me, and I drank out of this well and I know it's water, well, then guess what? Whatever you do with this, I'm going to share this. I'm going to be of service to others to help start to now move past some of that, where one can start to now stand erect. But again, what are you going to do? And it's and now I think I got some other scriptures in here that now I have on the banner. And now and here's one that I wanted to share, was, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And this is 2 Corinthians. So when one is arming one, now one might have their own views of what is being handed to them. So it's like, I need this gun, or I need something to protect me. Well, what is about your character? See, what you're going to have and what you're going to move through and traverse through this world with is not necessarily what somebody else will see with the naked eye, right? You're going to have a weapon where, even in the sense of, if you ever heard somebody said, you know, that person, oh, we're going to read this person, right? And I read this person so good that they just started crying. Well, what weapon that would you have when you can now start to speak life into somebody? That somebody can say, you know what, I was thinking about suicide, or I was thinking about, you know, ending it, or I was thinking about doing some very just debaucherous things. But when you spoke life into me, when you came to me with that word, when you came to me with that weapon, with that gift, I now see things differently. I now want to do things differently, because you came and you spoke life into me. But now it's like, okay, but what did you do with what was given to you? right? What were you doing when you showed up to a Sabbath meeting here, or you've been watching Chief's videos, and you've been studying the material? What are you going to do with that now? Do you go and now expand it and multiply it and say, you know what, for those who are here, I'm going to share this information? Or do you just go out of fear? I don't know how this is going to be received. I don't know what they're going to think of me, and just go and bury it. But you see that weapon of warfare, they're not carnal, right? So now I want to, and there's another one that I want to show you, because I think I just went and pulled some things to show you what one is supposed to do with the information, what one is supposed to do when they're given a gift, right? It's not just, okay, now what? Go out and feed the people. Go out and feed the people. So here we go. We got 1 Peter 3:15 from the King James Version. But sanctify the Lord in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, the meekness and fear. Now, the biggest thing when I saw this one was, but sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, right? And in your hearts, and one of the things that even when you start to hear on every Shema reading, when we get on there, it's the first thing that said is, this publication should be read daily. Its publication should be read daily. Because if you look at it, one of the things that if you see people, even when they're fighting, right, it's all about muscle memory. So you can always tell when somebody has been training and somebody has been actually doing the work of putting the fist up and swinging, and, and my feet are spread. I got a good base to me, my left, right, whatever. And then somebody who's just going to stand out there and just start wailing. Or even some people close their eyes and just like, I'm just trying to hit a target. But the more that somebody starts to study, the more that it becomes muscle memory. It becomes second nature. So now it's just dripping and oozing off of you, the doctrine that you studied and you have immersed yourself in. It's in your heart. So it's not just regurgitating information, and even not even just, that's in the 14 keys of, you're not just giving information to somebody, but it's actual knowledge. And that was in the, that's that. That Al Nura. No, that's an inside joke. At any rate, but you're giving them actual gems, and those gems is not something that you just acquired and you like, here, take this. These are things now, when it's in your heart, you have actually put in some work, because now you've known some different angles to take this with, and it's not just you extending a bridge that you haven't walked across yourself, but you have committed this way of life to yourself, and now it's in your heart. And be ready always. You know what? I don't feel like talking to these folks. I don't feel like doing this, man. Nah, you know what? I'm ready always to give an answer. Here, you know what? I'm ready always. I got this gift. This gift wasn't meant for me to just bury in the sand. This gift wasn't just meant for me to put it in my pocket. This gift wasn't, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And it's not me imposing on people and, giving unsolicited advice, but more so just, every man that asks, then, you'll understand, because I got one more for you too. Because, well, what about people just antagonistic or whatever the case, or they're just trying to get in? I got something for you too. Don't worry. But it's a matter of, now, are you ready? Because it's one thing when Chief spoke about this too before, and it's like, your talents will not only bring you out, but your talents will bring you out. So if you claim that you're something, or if you claim that, I stand on these principles and I do this, and somebody starts poking and saying, well, let me see what this person is about. And as you present and posture yourself as a wolf, it's only just a mere costume that one has put on. It's only just a mere costume that one has been walking around with. And now all of a sudden it's like, hold on, man, this costume got some buttons on this joint. This costume got some zippers on this joint. Like, come on, man. What is this? But are you ready? Are you immersed in the information where you're studying it on a daily basis, where it just comes out of you naturally, Do you know just a little bit to try to just give it to you want to teach to somebody, and as soon as somebody asks you a question, now it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you. That's because you haven't really got it for yourself yet. Or do you just hide something? Or do you just give it and then be like, you know what? I'm not gonna share where I'm getting all of my information from. I'm just gonna give it to you. Like, yeah, I just went off into the woods and I was meditating and it came to me. But are you really gonna give it to them in order to, you know what? This is the well that I'm drinking from. This is what now has resurrected me. It brought me back to life, and I'm ready to give it in the meekness and in the fear of others. Again, the light within me is going to now hit the light that's within someone else. Now, this is the last one that I got, which, here we go, is Galatians 4, chapter 4, 5 and 6, King James Version again, which it says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace and seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Walk in wisdom. What is wisdom? A wise dome, right? Walk in wisdom and an application of, okay, this is what I know. And it's one thing, and it's always good to have somebody who was further along the path to learn from. And again, that's like, it's like in the movie, I mean, not the movie, the series, what was it? Winter is Coming. King of Thrones. Iron Thrones? I don't know whatever it is. King of Thrones, Iron Thrones. This comes on HBO, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. At any rate, and it was like always sending the raven. And somebody who was further along the path now will send that raven. Game of Thrones, thank you, Master Antonio. Goodness gracious. And somebody sending that raven down. And when they send that raven down, they'll ultimately letting you know what is to be expected or what's coming in front of you. And it's not just one trying to walk and figure it out. Now, you can get that information and you can just sit with it, or you can now have it start to now move and change your own life. And when it moves and change your own life, somebody will start looking at you, and now you don't just hold on to it and you stopped it and you cut that circuit and you cut that energy off. No, you got to let that energy flow within you. And when it flows within you, then you give it to somebody else. And there may be information that they don't want to hear. You know, like, there's really some things coming that we need to be prepared for. Oh, yeah, I don't want to think about that, man. I don't care if you want to think about it or not. This is what's coming, and you should be prepared. I'm not going to now, out of fear, go and bury it. No, I'm going to stand tall and know that I'm going to walk in the faith of the kingdom that I'm standing on, to know that, you know what, either way, anything goes, I'm going to be all right because I'm going to be in good character. I'm not just going to sit here and not do anything. I'm going to walk in wisdom toward them that are out without, that are without, right? That are without. I know you may have a lot of money, you may have a lot of material possessions, but you're without the living word. And if one is without the living word, then what really do you have when you're down here? What really are you standing on when you're down here? Don't get caught up in all of this stuff. As you even know in the lessons we've learned, is the things that can be perceived by your five senses are not real. They're not real. What is it? What is all of this? No. But if you have that gift that's within, that's been freely shared with you, you should freely share it with someone else. Man. Redeeming the time, man. Yeah, because how many times have people walked around lost? And I can even speak for myself of thinking that I had information, thinking that I knew something, thinking that I was moving on the right path. And if it wasn't for somebody like Chief sharing information, resurrecting me from where I was at, then redeeming some of the time that I lost of trying to figure out elbows, trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. Nah, I'm going to redeem that time. Yeah. Here's a gift. Yeah. Now, I couldn't sit and just watch somebody hand these gifts out and watch them just do all of the work. You know what? Now that onus is on me to share that gift, to walk toward them that who are without. Here, I'm gonna give it to you. Let your speech be always with grace. It ain't no, I'm gonna sit up there and you know what? Now that I've seen something happen that, nobody has saved as many black boys as I have. Yeah, nobody has done this, letting that ego kick in. Nah, man, this is grace. This is grace. I'm doing this because it was done for me out of grace. Do people deserve it? I don't know. And that's not for me to say. It's not for me to say. But I'm going to walk towards them seasoned with salt. And it is now I got to figure out one thing that Chief has always said is like when you read something, no matter where it's at, no matter what time and period it's in, make sure that you know who they're speaking to. You have to know your audience. Yeah, like a good joke, you got to know your audience. Come on. And if you know your audience, then now you know how to now push the audience enough, but not push them over the ledge. You know enough to just give them, you know, what it is that, oh yeah, that's really funny. I can see that. But you know what? Hold up. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to hit the throttle. I'm going to pull back. You start to know now, you know, it's a season with salt. I see. Oh, I'm sorry. Chief got it. Salt is a mental state that understands as a result of living the truth of the Mashiach. That means salt, sulfur doesn't develop until there is truthful action. Come on, Chief. Let me put that in there, man. A mental state that understands as a result of living the truth of the Mashiach. That means salt, sulfur doesn't develop until there are truthful actions. And how many times have somebody just got information, but it yet hasn't been developed? Yet hasn't been, you know what? I studied with Chief, but you know, I'm ready to go. I studied with them, I'm ready to go though. You know, that's it. Nah. Be patient. Be patient. It'll come. But you leave before you actually receive what you were supposed to receive. Well, then now time, come on. Like just be patient and walk. Don't run, it'll be there. And who knows? Maybe you're not the person that was supposed to get to where you think that you thought in your head that you were supposed to get to. Maybe you were supposed to get the information to help the other person to hoist them up. Again, don't let the ego kick in where you know what, I gotta go. Or you know what, I'm just here to get what I needed, but then now I'm out of here. Man, it's just going to be detrimental. That ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Now that one right there. Ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Everybody is not going to get the same type of, you know, the same type of energy that's going to come. Some people, you know, I've heard this before with in a call-in segment where somebody says, you know, like, what's going on over here? There's a spice cabinet, right? And depending on who calls in, depending on who is asking for information, there's different spices that's going to be needed for different people. So some people might need a spicy herb. Some people might need a sweet herb and a joke in order to now disarm them, in order to now pour in some information. Some people might need it a little harder, where they're now like, oh man, that was a little rough and that was a little abrasive, and I had to clutch my pearls. I had to sit back for a second. But again, it's different herbs in the bag, and the only reason that one can have different herbs in the bag is like that seasoned salt, of staying there to make sure that you get what you needed. And a bunch of different ways to now navigate and move around all of the different energies that are down here in this world. So now you know how to answer every man. I know when somebody's coming at me trying to antagonize me. I know when somebody's coming at me trying to now belittle me. And I know when somebody's coming, or even that undercurrent of what somebody is saying, that I know when they're even now trying to make a joke of it, but they're really crying out underneath because they want help. I know how to answer everybody because I sat and I've listened and I've learned. And I'm not just now trying to hold on to this gift. I'm going to give this gift and I'm going to utilize these gifts. So now I know how to answer everyone. And now I have more herbs in my spice closet. I have more things that I can reach for. I have more things that I can grab in order to now answer every man. But I have to first, going back to the beginning, study to show thyself approved. I have to get it. I can't give what I don't have. I have to show patience. I have to be willing in order to now sit up underneath somebody else because, you know what, not let my ego kick in of saying I have it and I know it and whatever the case may be. I have to move beyond my fear of not just, you know what, this may not go right, or this may not be the way I envisioned it, or something may happen, or, you know, I'm coming from a scarcity, I'm coming from a deficit model. Nuh-uh, you know what? I'm going to go feed the people. There's a lot of people over there, and we only got 5. I don't matter how many you have. Go feed the people. Go do it, because I'm walking by faith and not by sight, man. I'm going to go do what was called of me because it was freely shared with me, so I will freely share it with others. So now that you have it, what you gonna do with it? Are you gonna barbecue or you gonna mildew? All right, and that's what I wanted to share today. I will that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. And we will be right back tomorrow on ClubHouse. Yeah, so check out on ClubHouse tomorrow at 12 p.m. with the affirmations. Go do the work. Go do the work. All right, y'all. Peace.